It's hard to explain to people who haven't been to Corrymeela before the magic of this place. You know, that island and the sea and that welcome.
When I was in America, I kind of sentimentalized what peacemaking involved. It's a heck of a job. It's very gritty, it's very difficult. It involves terrible decisions, compromise.
The mission of Corrymeela is to transform division through human encounter. And so we bring people from across those perspectives together to talk with each other about the problem rather than to talk about each other as the problem. A man called Ray Davey, who was a Presbyterian minister, he had been a prisoner of war during the Second World War, and in 1965 he heard of this piece of land becoming available and began to have symposia for people come from across faith divisions, from political divisions, etc. This was 1965.
I came to youth work in the 60s because there was a whole culture of young people are problems. But we said, no, these young people are assets. If they can trust one another more, then they can build a new society together more.
Conversations That Matter is a strategic dialogue programme that works with 18 to 25-year-olds from diverse backgrounds, cross-community, cross-border, so all over the island of Ireland.
And we just try to broaden the horizon and, basically help them to create some change.
This is the Cree chapel or worship space for Corrymeela. Inside this room there are people who got together who would have been coming from very, very different sides of the conflict, coming together to commemorate their lost ones after they'd been bereaved. But even that commemoration they found it difficult to do with some other people in the room who were also bereaved but who came from a different political point of view.
How young people understand the legacy of the conflict really varies, but there is still a lot of sectarianism in our society. For some middle-class young people in particular who maybe live in areas that weren't overly directly affected, it might seem like a distant past. For young people living in really contested areas, the troubles for many of them is still an everyday reality.
We're actually finding that some of our young people are longing, if you like, or feeling a level of that they weren't part of the conflict. And so there's almost a yearning to re-engage that.
My very first time at Corrymeela was in 2002, so 15 years ago. And at the time, I had never heard of a place on the island of Ireland where I didn't have to pretend not to be gay if I was in one context, or kind of dampen down my interest in faith and spirituality if I was in another context. And so it was a reconciliation of parts of me, both of which were true, a deep desire and centering around faith and the reality of being a gay man.
I'd learnt here in 1965 onwards the importance of bringing different people together for difficult engagements and for common projects. That's how you build peace. You stitch people together and you build networks and relationships between unexpected people.
Lots of these pieces of art were done by local community groups. Partly, I suppose, the complications is that the wall is felt to bring some safety, even though the wall really continues to keep people apart. Conflict is powerful. I'm interested in getting rid of violent conflict, but finding a fruitful and productive relationship with the conflicts of our life.
I'm not apart from or better than the mess that causes conflict in any society. I'm part of the mess, and I want to be a part of the solution as well.
Corrymeela introduced me to a version of the Christian faith that I hadn't been introduced to before. Christian faith is about unmasking violent ways and helping us, inviting us to live in more positive, inclusive community. Then it becomes a very potent thing in my life. Faith expression is about changing things for all of us in the day-to-day.